So today we'll see the moment distribution method. So which is nothing but an iterative method of solving an indeterminate structures or indeterminate beams, we can say, or indeterminate rigid frames. This method was introduced by Hardy-Cross in 1932. We can also call this method as a relaxation method where we get successive approximations, or we can say iterations, number of iterations, which is converging towards to get a final result. So the primary concept used in these methods are fixed end moments, relative or beam stiffness or stiffness factor, distribution factor, carryover moment or carryover factor. I will explain one by one clearly in the next coming slides. So the sign conventions, okay, whenever you get into this strength of materials or solid mechanics or aircraft structures, we need to understand the sign conventions. All clockwise movements are taken as a positive and anti-clockwise or counterclockwise movements are taken as negative. Very, very important. And these are the assumptions or procedures followed the statically indeterminate beams in moment distribution method. I'll just read out the things. Later, I'll just explain or connect the things with the problem. So all the members of the structures are assumed to be fixed and fixed end moments due to external loads are obtained. Okay, for example, if three spans are given, for example, three supports, two spans are given means the individual spans are considered as a fixed end beams. Then we will calculate the fixed end moments. That's nothing but fixed end moments are calculated due to external loads. It's mentioned here. Okay. While solving the problems, you will come to know what is what. Okay. Now you just hear the things what I'm reading now. All the hinged joints are released by applying an equal and opposite moment. Okay. This also I will explain it later. The joints are allowed to deflect or rotate one after the other by releasing them successfully. The unbalanced moment at the joint is shared by the members connected at the joint when it is released. The unbalanced moment at a joint is distributed into the two spans with their distribution factor. Okay, now it may think like confusion or not able to understand, but while solving problems, I'll give the connection. Now, what is relative stiffness or a beam stiffness or stiffness factor? When a structural member of uniform section is subjected to a moment at one end, then the moment required so as to rotate that end to produce unit slope or unit angle, whatever it is called the stiffness of the member. So stiffness is the member of force required to produce unit deflection, that is Newton per meter or Newton per millimeter or kilonewton per meter. It is also the moment required to produce unit rotation at a specified joint or specified support in a beam or a joint in a structure. It can be extended to denote the torque needed to produce unit twist. For example, if torque is applied means the torque needed to produce unit twist. If rotation is applied means it is require force required to produce unit angle or unit slope, whatever it is. When torque is coming into picture, unit twist. Okay, when force or moment is applied means unit slope or unit rotation. Stiffness of members in continuous beams and rigid frames are given as follows. For example, stiffness of all indeterminate members, K is denoted by, this letter K is denoted for the stiffness. Okay, stiffness K is equal to 4 EI by L. You can see here K is equal to 4 EI by L when the support is fixed. When the support is hinged or roller, the stiffness is given by 3 EI by L, where E is the Young's modulus and I is the moment of inertia of the beam, L is the beam's span length. Then what is distribution factor? When several members meet at a joint and a moment is applied at the joint to produce rotation without translation of the members, the moment is distributed among all the members meeting at that point proportionate to their stiffness. Distribution factor is equal to relative stiffness by sum of relative stiffness at the joint. For example, if there are three members, distribution factors is equal to K1 relative stiffness of member 1 divided by sum of all relative stiffness K1 plus K2 plus K3. Then for second member K2 divided by K1 plus K2 plus K3. Then third member K3 divided by K1 plus K2 plus K3. This is nothing but a distribution factor. I will explain you later why this distribution factor is required. Then carryover moment. It is defined as the moment induced at the fixed end of a beam by the action of a moment applied at the other end, which is hinged. Carryover moment is the same nature of the applied moment. That is, if the carryover applied moment is clockwise, means the carryover moment will also be a clockwise. That is the same sense. Anti-clockwise means anti-clockwise. I will explain you while explaining this derivation part. Carryover factor. A moment applied at the hinged end B carries over to the fixed end A. A moment equal to half the amount of applied moment and of the same rotational sense. Carryover factor is equal to 1 by 2, that is 0.5. The ratio of moment produced at a joint to the moment applied at the other joint without displacing it is called carryover factor. So once I do the derivation, you will be able to understand what is carryover moment, what is carryover factor, what is distribution factor, what is stiffness factor, everything. Now, carryover factor for a beam fixed at one end and simply supported at the other end. You see here, the left end A is fixed and right end is simply supported. We call this beam setup as proper cantilever beam. So cantilever beam means one end fixed, other end free. Proper cantilever beam means one end fixed, other end is simply supported at B. Okay. So this is the beam condition, right? One end fixed, other end is simply supported at B. Let R be the unknown support reaction. Now at B, I am applying a moment or applied moment M suffix B, M or mu. Okay, we call it as M or mu. Applied moment or externally applied bending moment MB at support B. MB, we are applying a moment MB at support B in clockwise sense. Once this moment is applied, this beam will try to deflect like this as it is shown by this hidden line or dashed line, whatever it is. So the beam will try to bend upward. What the support will do? The support will offer a moment to bring back to this original position. So the moment offered with the support at A, MA will act clockwise, which is tending to bring the beam to the original position. You can see here MB is applied clockwise. So MA is also acting in a clockwise sense. Both are in same sense. Now let me write down the moment equation with respect to A. Okay, since here support reaction R is applied, you see this MB is balanced by MA and R, the support reaction is R is acting here. This support reaction, unknown support reaction must be balanced by the reaction at A also. That's why this R is acting downward. So this R at A and this R at B both are equal and opposite. Hence the setup, the beam setup is in equilibrium. So now when I take moment with respect to A, okay, R into L anti-clockwise minus R into L plus MA clockwise plus MB clockwise. So RL is equal to MA plus MB, let it be equation 1. Then take a section XX at a distance X from the fixed end. Now write down the moment equation about this line. Okay, about this line. R into X anti-clockwise minus MA clockwise with respect to this plus MA. So from solid mechanics, Mx is equal to Ei d square y by dx square is equal to minus Rx plus Ma. Integrate to get the slope equation minus Rx square by 2 plus Ma into x plus C1. Let it be equation 2. Then again integrate the slope to get deflection. Eiy is equal to minus Rx cube by 6 plus Max square by 2 plus C1x plus C2. Let it be equation 3. Now let us apply the boundary conditions to get the constant of integration C1 and C2. At A is the fixed support. At A, x is 0, okay, x is 0, where the slope and deflection is 0. We know very well from solid mechanics that at the fixed support, both slope and deflection are 0. So when you apply these boundary conditions in equation 2 and 3, C1 will be 0 and C2 will be 0. Then substitute those two, this equation 2 and 3. So the final form of slope equation is EI dy by dx is equal to minus rx square by 2 plus max. Equation 4, final slope equation. Then 5 is the final deflection equation. EIY is equal to minus rx cube by 6 plus max square by 2 because C1 and C2 are 0. So these are the two final slope and deflection equations. Now at B, when x is equal to L, deflection is 0 because at the simply supported ends, deflection is always 0. So from this 5, substitute x is equal to L, you get RL is equal to 3 times MA. Now substitute this R into L is equal to 3 times MA in equation 1, where equation 1 is nothing but RL is equal to MA plus MB. So once when you substitute, simplify it, you get the term like this: MA by MB is equal to 1 by 2. MA by MB is equal to 1 by 2, okay, which is nothing but the carryover factor, 1 by 2 carryover factor, okay. At B again, when x is equal to L, okay, at B when x is equal to L, slope is nothing but dy by dx, which is nothing but theta B. So from equation 4, EI theta B, you can see here, minus R L square by 2 plus MA into L. R into L is nothing but 3 times MA, substitute here. So EI theta B is equal to minus MA L by 2, minus MA L by 2, theta B is equal to minus MA L by 2 EI. And if you substitute MA in terms of MB, MA by MB is equal to 1 by 2. MA is nothing but MB by 2. Substitute here. You get theta B is equal to minus MBL by 4 EI. This is slope formula for this. From this, I can write in terms of, by keeping the moment on one side, 4 EI theta B by L. Okay, MB is equal to 4 EI theta B by L. Or I can say MB by theta B. That is moment required to produce a unit slope. MB by theta B is equal to 4 EI by L. I can call this as a stiffness factor or stiffness when one end is fixed.